Ted left for the surface. We hope he'll be back soon. Timmy's very hungry. Ted should walk. Oh, he should rest a little longer. Soup. Mutated rodents are attacking our supplies. We're not sure if they're rats, feral bunnies, or just mutated hamsters. All of these options are pretty grim. We could use spare ammunition or something else to get rid of every one of these pests. Axe. Our cans are saved. Too bad for the hairy mutant. Yes, we're still top of the food chain. Good for us. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. He needs a few days to rest. Timmy's no longer hungry. Ring ring. There we were, thinking we could never hear a telephone signal again. When suddenly his phone starts ringing from somewhere outside. We figured it's a phone booth across the street. Someone should answer it. Should someone go answer it? Yes. When we answered the phone, we could clearly hear a gasp of relief from the caller. They introduced themselves as survivors from a nearby town of Hill Valley. We had started exchanging information when the call was cut short. Something must have gone wrong on their side. We hope they will get back to us. Timmy still hasn't rested. Timmy doesn't need much, but he should drink. Water. It's hard to keep track of time down here. We can't tell if it's night or day, or sleeping patterns are messed up. These terrible light bulbs are not helping. Too bad we can't replace them. There has to be something else we can do about this. Bravely ignoring our symptoms, we try to get at least an hour or two of sleep. No luck. We're even more tired than we were, and there are other problems we will need to face soon. Let's just hope our yawning will be enough to scare raiders away, or save us from radiation sickness. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. Timmy's no longer thirsty. It's high time we stopped wondering about what's going on and started asking questions, or at least listen to some reasonable answers. So how about tuning into the radio station and learning a thing or two about the brave new world? We were able to get a weak signal and tap into the government emergency announcement surface. And guess what? Great news! The fallout outside has mostly gone. It should be much safer to travel on the surface now. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Timmy should eat something. We can keep sitting on our backsides here in this tiny little bunker, or we can start thinking about getting away as far as possible from this radio wasteland. We would have thought, yeah, blah blah blah. There we go. Good news, the government made a radio broadcast about the extracting survivors from our area. The announcer asked everyone listening to wait a while longer and expect further communication in a few days. We'll be out of here soon. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Timmy is no longer hungry. We can't leave Timmy without water for too long. Water. Every new smell attacks our noses in this little shelter instantly. There isn't much we can miss. So when a single brick fell out from the wall, revealing a tight opening, our senses were immediately invaded by a terrible stench. We should probably check that hole out and see what the source of that smell is. We looked into the hole, fearing something might come at us with claws, fangs, or other mutated sharp body parts. But nothing happened. Instead, we found a dead rat who was trying to break into a can of tomato soup. He failed miserably. We have a feeling we'll be luckier than him, so we confiscated it. We gave the rat a proper burial in an empty can he deserved that much. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Timmy's no longer thirsty. We've decided to peek outside for just a minute to see if the store around the corner was still standing. When we were about to step out, we heard a growl in the darkness, and a pair of ferocious eyes appeared a few feet away. We only had a moment to decide what to do. Gun. A quick shot with the rifle was more than enough to scare away or maybe bring down whatever creatures stalked us in the night. We never saw it again. Ted has safely returned from its voyage to the surface. Okay, I still have ammunition. What was that? Is it a bird? Is it a stockbroker? Is it a bicycle repairman? No, it's the aid airdrop. That was an excellent time to leave the bunker in search of supplies. One of the food drops broke in midair, and now it's raining soup. Luckily for us, a few cans survived the fall. +2 soup. Some crates were filled with very weird stuff. Why did they drop a crate full of rubber ducks? At least one of the smaller crates had a few water bottles in it. Damn it, our gas mask was damaged during the expedition. Damn it. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Ted's stomach's rumbling. Ted is really tired. Everyone gets soup and water. It seems awfully quiet outside. Maybe it's safe, maybe it's not. We don't know until we go out. A traveling salesman paid us a visit today. He introduced himself as Willie. Apparently business can do it well after the end of the world. No, I'm not giving away my gun. I have plenty of water. That salesman was very friendly, but he didn't have anything that was of interest to us. Ted is hungry. Ted is rested. Timmy still hasn't rested. We had some spare ammunition, but now it's gone. We don't know how or when. It must have been misplaced. We need to find it and soon. Flashlight. Found it. Found it. The ammunition clip was covered by a can. Too bad it was empty, but at least we have our bullets back. Ted's stomach is rumbling. Timmy still hasn't rested. We need to make a choice for today's expedition. Which one of us is best fit to face the Wasteland and survive? Oh, I need the map. There we go. Day 20. Ted left for the surface. We hope he'll be back soon. Timmy still isn't rested. Timmy doesn't need much but water. Water. The trash can is becoming full of empty soup cans, and the unmentionable bucket is overflowing. Both of them are attracting strangely glowing, suspiciously big insect wildlife. Roaches weren't that big before the war, were they? That was close. A nest of those glowing bugs might have been more than enough to drive us out into the wasteland. Roaches are the worst, but radioactive roaches? Yikes. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Timmy's no longer thirsty. Today we found a letter from what seems to be other survivors. They claim they mean us no harm and want to get to know us better. They're asking to choose one person to represent us and come back to a meeting tonight, unarmed. We're a bit worried, but they could be friendly. Should we go? Yes. Day 22. The meeting was organized by twin siblings, a brother and a sister, who took it upon themselves to scout the remains of the city, looking for trustworthy and decent people. They seemed honest about their intentions, and we're more than happy to meet them again. They said they know where to find us, and they're going to contact us if they need some help. Timmy keeps falling asleep in a chair. He needs to rest a few days. We can barely breathe in the stam shelter. For the last couple of hours, the situation has been getting noticeably worse. There might be something wrong with the ventilation system. Maybe it's stuck. If that's the case, we need to look into fixing it right away. Boy Scout book. Uh-oh. Timmy's sick. Using the handbook to research vent maintenance seemed like a fair idea. We figured it's full of pointers on how to fix things. It must have a chapter on nuclear shelter air ventilation systems. Before we could even check, we were invited by a group of angry insects which flew out of that cursed vent. Their stings hurt like hell and seemed to give us a fever. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. How about getting something? Timmy does a drink. Timmy should eat something. Timmy fell sick. The sleazy-looking trader carrying an equally scruffy bag on his shoulder. Ooh, Shirikov. Yay! Kitty! As soon as the door closed behind the trader, the bag started to violently shake, emitting screeching, hellish sounds. Terrified, we backed up against the walls. When the beast finally escaped, it turned out to be just an angry house cat. The feline gave us a menacing look and promptly sat down in the corner to clean itself. The collar says Shirikov. Is that its name? Timmy stole quite slickly. Timmy still hasn't rested. Timmy is no longer thirsty. Timmy is no longer hungry. We were able to receive another message from the government. The military is preparing a rescue mission. They want all survivors to head to a specific location in the area, then leave a sign that someone is still alive and kicking nearby. The problem is they've provided us a geographical coordinates, but we need a map to find out where that we're supposed to be headed. Otherwise, it's just complete gobbledygook. Don't have my map. Day 25. We were sure we could find a location without the map. We were wrong. Hopefully we'll get lucky next time. Timmy's still quite sick. Timmy is rested. The last thing we expected to hear while sitting in a fallout shelter was a trumpet. It was played by someone who was clearly not a trumpet player, and who had probably never heard a trumpet player in his entire life. He came with a friend who knocked on the door and demanded that we let the merry men enter, so they could take from the rich and give to the poor. Should we let them in? Sure, why not? Yay, Ted's back. Those merry men were not merry at all. They told us that we were rich and that we should share with the other 99% of the wasteland. They grabbed a few things and left. We couldn't do anything to stop them. Their green clothes were too damn hypnotizing. Lost a Boy Scout book and a lock, but luckily he got one. Ted has safely returned from his voyage to the surface, plus one map. Sweet. We've been discussing selling our house and moving someplace else, but in truth, we didn't exactly picture things as they turned out. We missed the old place. It was only natural that we decided to take a look and see if any of it was still standing. The only recognizable furniture in the kids' room were burned desks and Mary Jane's bed. There was a hidden stash under the bed. It was full of soup cans. Our kitchen is a pile of rubble. It took us weeks to find those lovely chairs that matched the floor tiles. Now they were nowhere to be found. Only a few bottles of water remained scattered in the dirt. Only a handful of books survived the apocalypse. They were scattered all over the lawn. Many of them were badly burned, but a scout handbook with the number 13 scribbled on it on the first page was barely touched. Our little trip to the surface might have been spotted and followed. We should be more careful next time. Ted is hungry. Ted is tired. Ted is pretty fatigued. Timmy needs an extra blanket. We can't leave Timmy without water very long. Timmy's still fatigued. Alright, everyone gets something. The cat is growling in the general direction of us, in our supplies. We're not sure. Okay. Soup for the cat. Little Devil utterly devoured the whole can in less than 60 seconds and left nothing behind. Not even a drop. After that, it took a long, peaceful nap. At least it won't bother us for a long while now. Ted's stomach's rumbling. Ted is still tired. Timmy is no longer thirsty. Okay. You would expect the post-apocalypse to be a time of peace and quiet, since, most of the people aren't around anymore. Yet here we are. We have someone at the door. We opened it up. We encountered a strange-looking man in a blue jumpsuit, who asked us to trade him a water chip. A water chip? What in the hell is that? Water. The visitor wasn't very happy that we didn't have a water chip, or that we didn't know what that one was. He did help himself to the water we offered him and explained the chip is of the utmost importance. Before we learned anything more, he left for the wasteland. Ted's stomach's rumbling. Ted's still mighty tired and needs more time to recover. It won't do any if we do blah blah blah. Sherikov sure can take care of itself, but we can't help but wonder how much of a self-made cat it is. It just so happens that we found an address on its collar. It's unlikely that the owner is still alive, and a trip to the wasteland is always risky. Should we go outside and check the address? Yes. Before we reached the end of our street, we were stopped by two men wearing dark coats and stylish hats. They rushed towards the cat and picked him up, saying they'd been looking for him for a while now. Supposedly, Sherikov belongs to an old lady who's rather fond of it and misses the little guy dearly. We shrugged and went back to our shelter. The cat didn't seem to care, so why should we? Good thing we didn't get too attached to it in the last few days. Timmy is looking very pale. It's not good. That's not good. We can't leave Timmy without water for too long. Ted is no longer hungry. Ted needs water. Our favorite radio station stopped broadcasting. When we tried our other frequencies, we found nothing but static. Are all the stations gone? Maybe we should tinker with the radio to increase its range. Sure. Oops. We broke it. Well, that didn't go so well. We broke the damn thing. Technology changes so fast these days. It's hard to keep up. Who needs a radio anyway? Timmy's still quite sickly. Timmy's no longer thirsty. Ted. Bring the map with you. Day 31. Ted left for the surface. We hope he'll be back soon. Timmy needs an extra blanket. He's shivering all the time. Timmy should eat something. Soup. When we hear a knock on the door and decide to open, our heart rate always goes up a bit. Fortunately, this time wasn't some bloodthirsty raiders, but the brother and sister that we befriended some time ago. They are quite ambitious. Together with their group, they're trying to construct a few houses and make a small camp. If we have an axe, we could help them with the construction. Axe. Sherikov's back! We got a few splinters, but the work is done. We even had some fun. It was almost like building that tree house in the backyard all over again. The group and their leaders appreciated our help, and they said they would definitely let us know when the whole thing is finished, so we can come and visit them. To our surprise, we found Sherikov back in our shelter this morning. We're not exactly sure why or how it came back. Is it our good care it appreciates, or kind hearts, optimism, or just our stockpile of soup cans? Only time will tell. Timmy needs an extra blanket. Timmy's no longer hungry. Timmy needs water. It's really weird when you get the feeling that something is watching you. Our shelter is tiny, but this has been bugging us for a while. We checked all the closets and no one's hiding there. Is there something alive down here besides us? Maybe a rodent of some kind? If so, we need to show it that we are the dominant species in this little paradise of ours. Axe. No use wasting bullets when we have a perfectly good axe. Whatever it was, it's dead now. Quite dead. Maybe there's more hiding somewhere in one of those nasty little holes. Timmy's looking quite sickly. Timmy's no longer thirsty. Curiosity almost killed the cat. Sherikov found a tiny wire sticking out from the ceiling and pulled it out. Plaster and debris fell on our table, topped with a big meowing fur ball. What is this thing anyway? Nobody remembers it being there before. The cat might get angry if we take the wire away, so maybe it's best to leave it be. Or should we examine the wire? Examine it. We grabbed the cable and followed it to a rusty old truck parked in our neighbor's driveway. Upon opening the door, we were confronted with two men wearing huge headphones who looked extremely surprised to see us. They wiretapped our shelter when we were asleep, and they were listening to everything we said. We gave them hell and marched back to our bunker. Timmy is looking very pale. That's not good. During our latest expedition, we ran into a smelly man in torn-up clothes. We recognized him as an old bum named Jim, who used to roam the streets of our town before the bomb fell. Now he roams the wasteland, and it looks like he followed us home. Now he's banging on the door, asking if we want to buy a rock. Well, do we? Sure. Ted's back! We opened the door and greeted the old man with a smile. He was eager to show us his bag filled with a rich choice of rocks, and convinced us to take one for free, for old time's sake. We agreed and carefully chose the best rock, and the man left. We can't complain. It's a good rock, really. Also, he claimed it brings luck. We'll see about that. Ted has safely returned from his voyage to the surface. The proud Ellison Hotel was completely destroyed, piles of luggage were lying between heaps of rubble. Only a few rooms on lower levels partially survived. Now we know the secret of their restaurant's chef. It's tomato soup. No wonder they were a 5-star hotel. Our map really took a beating on our expedition. It's nearly unusable now. We believe that our expedition to the wasteland must have been followed by strangers. We should be more cautious next time. We spotted some sort of vehicle just down the street, but we couldn't get a good enough look. Maybe future expeditions will prove more fruitful. Timmy needs an extra blanket. Timmy needs water. Timmy needs to eat something. Ted needs to eat something. Ted is really tired. Water and soup for everyone. The agents who are spying on us are now at our door and want to explain themselves. Should we hear them out? Sure. They were agents, real-life secret agents on a government mission. We saw their identity cards briefly. They weren't listening in on us. It was the cat they were interested in. They made a request, too, wanting us to aid them with some of their top-secret missions in the future. If we do that, they promise they will extract us to a government safe house full of supplies and donuts. Hopefully they come back soon with more information. Ted is hungry. Ted is still tired. Timmy needs an extra blanket. Timmy is no longer thirsty or hungry. Food. Today we were visited by a strange-looking little man who introduced himself as a trader. He insisted the prices are so low that it's practically like cutting his own throat. The least we could do was take a look at his offer, though for some reason we don't really trust him. Yeah, let's do the Boy Scout book. A weird man tried to make us buy fried cockroaches on a stick, covered in some mysterious sauce. These snacks looked pretty disgusting, so he turned them down. But we bought something else from him. He looked a bit disappointed. Ted is hungry. Ted is rested. If we don't do anything about Timmy's sickness, it might get worse. The state of the wasteland, blah blah blah. The wasteland is full of surprises. Like this man on the other side of our door knocking and claiming that he's willing to offer a lot for decent ammunition. Shall we trade? Sure. Sweet, we got a new radio. We handed the ammunition to the stranger and he offered us something of true value in return. A working radio. Timmy needs water. Ted needs water. Everyone gets water. Let's do that. Mysterious sounds are coming from our radio, but they're hidden behind a ton of static. Do we want to tinker with it a bit to find the right frequency? No. It's the last time we did that, it broke. Tinkering with our precious radio sounds like a bad idea. Let's hope this wasn't anything important. Timmy is looking very pale. It's not good. Timmy's no longer thirsty. We need to make a choice for today's expedition. Ted. Day 40. Ted left for the service. We hope he'll be back soon. Timmy's looking very pale. That's not good. Timmy should eat something. Soup. We've been busy since we got to the shelter, but there is still much to be done, like trimming that shrubbery in our yard. That's definitely something we need to do when we get out of here. Day 41. We can make it work, even in Toronto. Question is, how do we find a boat to get there? We heard that's the best way to get to Europe. Timmy is looking very pale. That's not good. Timmy's no longer hungry. Timmy needs water. The siblings are back with their group to announce that their camp has been finished. They are attempting to make living there as enjoyable as possible, and they have one problem. Their children. The older ones can be trained to help in scouting or guarding the base, but the youngsters get bored really fast. The group has been going through the rubble, looking for toys and games that would keep kids occupied and happy. Harmonica. Not only are musical instruments fun, but this one is also historically significant. Harmonica was the instrument of choice for several American presidents. Let's hope the kids appreciate that and treat the mouth organ with respect it deserves. Timmy is still quite sickly. Timmy is no longer hungry. Alert! There is a gang of firefighters outside, or at least they're dressed like ones. They've been banging on the door, ordering us to surrender all of our supplies. They claim they will drive us out with fire if we don't comply. I guess the definition of a firefighter has somewhat changed recently. How do we oppose them? Gun. Aww, our gun broke. It's not surprising that a few shots were enough to send those cowards running. The question is, what happens if the rifle malfunctions or we use all of our ammo? We do hope it won't come to that. Otherwise, we might need to defend ourselves using knives and forks. Oh damn it, we spoke too soon. We think the gun is broken. What do we do now? If we don't do anything about Timmy's sickness, it might get worse. We played a game of list the things you hate the most, and our neighbor's name kept coming up for some reason. That reminded us blah blah blah. Timmy. Uh-oh. We marched to Ned's house and found a first aid kit. Oh, man. Okay. You perished. Alright, we'll play another round in just a minute. I got to change out my earbuds real quick because these ones are dying. I'll be right back, everyone. Alright, there we go. Much better. Alright, let's play another round. I apologize if my audio quality dropped, by the way. As all of us, all of us made it into the shelter just a second before the blast. That was a close one. As long as we're all together, we can make it work down here. We remember hearing canned soup is healthy for you. We vaguely remember stashing some things in the shelter because there was no room for the upstairs. Turns out being messy can really work in your favor. +1 flashlight, +1 playing cards, and a rifle. Good thing we grabbed that suitcase. What we found inside was definitely helpful. Poison and a harmonica. Our shelves are full of cans. We'll eat from cans, we'll sleep on cans, we'll even talk to cans. Some of us already do. There's just barely enough water for everyone. We will have to ration it strictly. This is the best stocked shelter we've ever seen. We've never seen another one, but we're sure this is a good amount of supplies. We really miss the life we had. The space, the sky, the food, more food. We wish we could go back in time before this damn bomb dropped. What we made of today will be our tomorrow, so let's make it right. Ted seems to be doing alright, even though the world has gone to shit, a crappy place. Mary Jane seems fine today. Hopefully it will stay that way. Dolores is doing quite well, or she just can't find anything to complain about today. Timmy seems okay, as much as he can be in our current situation. Sure, let's do this. We were thinking it's a day like any other down here, when Mary Jane confronted us. She said it's her birthday, but she doesn't want a gift. Not in this situation. Not in this economy. Well, she's too young to be giving orders around here. So she's getting a birthday present, and that's that. We just need to pick it out. Mary Jane loves cards. We thought she might get herself busy with solitaire, but we started doing card readings. Definition or not, if we don't figure out why the world has gone to hell, maybe she will. If Ted doesn't drink something soon, he won't last long. Guess getting something to drink for Mary Jane sounds like the right idea. Everyone needs a drink. Okay, I'm gonna send Dolores out. Gas mask. Day 4. Dolores is on her way to the surface. Let's hope she'll make it back safe and sound. Ted is no longer thirsty. Mary Jane is no longer thirsty. Timmy is no longer thirsty. You would expect a nuclear explosion would be enough to quench any petty arguments. When the future is not looking too pretty and all you see is naked walls, not much is necessary for an explosion. It happened. We started fighting like crazy. We could barely sleep after all that arguing. Let's hope this won't happen again. Ted is fine. It's impressive how well Mary Jane is handling the situation. She looks fine today. No news is good news. There's nothing new going on with Timmy. Timmy and Mary Jane are in need of some physical exercise. Letting them run outside in the wasteland seems a bit adventurous, but they could play tag inside the shelter. It's not like we have any expensive vases or any antique dishes down here. Be broken. Should we let the kids play? Sure. As soon as they got permission, Timmy and Mary Jane immediately started running around laughing, at least spinning around, since there's not much space in this tiny shelter. During their playtime, they noticed a single bottle of water tucked in the corner behind some empty cans. Lucky find. Ted needs some water to survive. Ted's hungry. We should get Mary Jane something to drink. Timmy needs to drink. Water and food for Ted. There's been some radio chatter about airdrops from the military. It's about time. All those taxes had to pay for a crate or two for us, right? Shall we head out to get them? No, we can't. Dolores has the mask. It was too dangerous to go out there without any protection, so we decided to stay indoors and listen to the radio. The static is also so relaxing. Ted is no longer thirsty. Ted is no longer hungry. Mary Jane is no longer thirsty. Mary Jane needs food. Timmy needs food. Everyone gets food except Ted. We've met a bunch of people dressed in what looked like Halloween doctor outfits. Yes, water. You can have water. Day 8. A bottle of relatively clean water is the closest we will ever get to hydrogen peroxide. The guests were grateful anyway. Ring ring, there we were, thinking we could never hear a telephone signal again. When suddenly a phone starts ringing from somewhere outside. We figured it's the phone booth across the street. Maybe should someone go answer it? Timmy, go answer the phone. Hey, Dolores is back. When we answered the phone, we could clearly hear a gasp, but yeah, we've already got that plenty of times. We were glad to see Dolores back safe and sound with Blazon, and the gas masks arrived. Good. We set off an expedition to their nearby zoo we used to visit on weekends. We were happy to report that it was a protective supply run, as well as an educational trip. We saw pterodactyls, chimpandeers, a porcupine, pony, a small army of cat roaches, and other majestic creatures that have emerged among the post-nuclear fauna. The friendly-looking Crabtopotamus lazily observed the sea life section from a distance. In its den, we found the body of a zoo worker with some of his possessions lying around. Plus one lock. Running from humongous Tarantoraptors, we made our escape through the zoo's souvenir shop. Most of it was torn to shreds by the bomb, but a few useful things were still lying around, plus one Boy Scout book. We spotted some sort of vehicle just down the street, but we couldn't get a good enough look at it in the dark. Maybe future expeditions will prove more fruitful. Ted should drink something soon. Mary Jane is thirsty. Dolores has not eaten in a while. Dolores is tired. Timmy has been talking about nothing other than water. Alright, everyone gets water and Dolores gets food. Our neighborhood is still highly radioactive. Yeah, no. We know very little about what's going on outside. It would be a good idea to find out more, maybe discover if anyone else made it safely to a radio could help with that. We were able to get a weak signal and tap into a government's emergency announcement service. And guess what? Great news. The fallout outside is mostly gone. It should be much safer to travel on the surface now. Dolores has not eaten for a while. Dolores is still tired and can't seem to sleep it off. Timmy's hungry. Hungry. Something's missing. Let's see. Fan hum, check. Strange noises in our pipes, check. Hellish yells outside, check. Oh, Dolores hasn't spoken for a while. That's it. And it's really strange. Talking to her would be a good idea. Sure. Talking to Dolores helped resolve some of her issues and doubts. She feels better now. Dolores complains she still can't get a good night's sleep around here. Dolores is no longer hungry. Ted's stomach is rumbling. Mary Jane is quite hungry. And Timmy is no longer hungry. So Ted and Mary Jane can eat. Alright, let's send Timmy out with the map. Timmy went out to the wasteland. We don't know what we'll do if he doesn't come back. Ted isn't hungry anymore. All Ted wishes is for a few drops of water. Mary Jane needs water. Dolores needs water. Everyone needs water. If there's anyone who can rescue us from this hellish situation, it's our government. You can't badmouth them. You can badmouth them all you want, but that probably means you're either a naysayer or a commie. We're good citizens. We've been paying our taxes regularly, so we're sure Uncle Sam is coming to get us. We'll help. Well, except that one time when we. Never mind. The government people are coming, and we should keep our ears and eyes open for any sign from them. We made contact. The military is out there and they're coming for us. All we need to do now is wait patiently. The soldier with the boring voice was very specific about this. Help is on the way. We just need to wait for further instructions and keep our radio in working order. Ted isn't thirsty anymore, Mary Jane is no longer thirsty, and Dolores needs food. Playing a game or two might be a good way to relieve the mood and take our minds off the problems of today and tomorrow. And hey, playing games is good for you, so why not give it a try every now and then? We played hide and seek. The longest round we were able to play lasted for around 10 seconds, and that was only because the lights were out for a moment. Dolores is no longer hungry. There isn't much going on with Ted, no trouble, nothing new. Mary Jane is still feeling safe. Who wouldn't in this coffin-sized shelter? Alright, we played a game of list things you hate the most, and our neighbor's name kept coming up, blah blah blah. Mary Jane, go check it out. Uh-oh. Mary Jane got sick. When we opened the safe, we heard a loud bang in the room filled with thick, nasty smoke that smelled of rotten eggs. The bastard booby-trapped the safe. Sure, it slowed us down, but it didn't stop us from taking his most prized possessions. Take that, Ned. Too bad we won't ever get the stench off of our clothes now. While Ted wishes for a few drops of water, Ted is hungry, Mary Jane is thirsty. Mary Jane contracted an illness. There has to be some water left before she get it. Everyone needs water. I guess we'll give to these people. No, because Mary Jane is sick. And yeah. The other day, we heard a quiet knock on our door, but when we opened it, we only found a suitcase on the doorstep, and there was no one around. It isn't signed, but it sure looks like it's meant for us. Should we check out what's inside? Yes. A gift. Receive a gift. Ooh. We gladly accepted the sudden gift, and despite our suspicions, it turned out it was just the regular tomato soup that we all know and love. Thank you, kind stranger. We were so afraid for Timmy, but he came back from the wasteland, safe with us. We were not alone outside the shelter at first, it seemed. Seemed like the creature stalking us was about to get itself a nasty dinner. A tasty dinner. To our relief, it turned out to be a friendly monkey. It joined our expedition. While we explored one of the streets, our monkey ran away. Our monkey companion ran away, only to come back later carrying a can of food. It couldn't open it himself, but it was happy to share it with us. At one point during our expedition, the monkey started making weird noises and digging in front of us with a stick. A quick investigation revealed a few bottles of water. No one even tried to open them. The same couldn't be said about those bottles of booze lying next to them. Our map really took a beating during our expedition. It's nearly unusable now. The vehicle down the street looks like someone's work in progress. We observed it from afar. Who could the owner be? We've kept our distance for the time being, but we may want to take a closer look in the future. This could potentially be our ticket out of here. Ted is hungry. Ted isn't thirsty anymore. We don't get Mary Jane soon. Cure Mary Jane soon. So who knows what will happen? Mary Jane keeps fainting. We really need to find her something to drink fast. Mary Jane is quite hungry. Dolores no longer thirsty. Timmy should eat something. And food for everyone. We're not certain about the situation on the surface. A trip could be risky. Yeah, let's go. Every now, new smell attacks our noses in this little shelter. Instantly, there isn't much we can miss, so when a single brick fell out of the wall, revealing a tight opening, our senses were immediately invaded by a terrible stench. We should probably check that hole out and see what the source of the smell is. Oh no! Our radio broke. We approached the hole cautiously and peeked inside. What happened next nearly gave us a heart attack. Some crazed rodent or reptile or whatever this crazy mad creature was leapt out and started jumping all over the damn shelter. It was everywhere. We couldn't catch it. Before we could do anything, it pushed off our radio off the table and went back to the hole it crawled from. We never saw it again. Mary Jane is still rather sick. Timmy is very hungry. Timmy needs water. make a choice for today's expedition. Dolores, take... Take the axe with you. Dolores is on her way to the surface. Let's hope she'll make it back safe and sound. Aren't there any drugs we can give to Mary Jane? Timmy still hasn't rested. Timmy's no longer hungry. Where's water when Ted needs it? We were paid a visit today by a young man worried about his twin sister, who went missing in a bandit camp not long ago. While acting as a spy and trying to get her hands on the plans of the new bandit fortress, he seems to trust us fully and is very friendly, but obviously concerned. He asks that we come to his aid in his hour of need, and really good things might happen if we manage to succeed. Let's send Ted. Day 19. The young man was assisted by a group of other survivors, all armed but really friendly. We found the girl, threw her a weapon, and fought off the bandits guarding the exit. Siblings were happy to be reunited, but also very confused. Turns out the bandit leader is actually their father. Crazy, small world we live in. Anyway, they were really thankful and promised to contact us again soon. Mary Jane is still rather sick. We should get Mary Jane something to drink. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Timmy should eat something. Ted is no longer thirsty. Ted is... Okay, everyone gets food. Mary Jane needs water. Actually, we can wait on that. We've been busy since we got to the shelter, but there is still much to be done, like trimming that shrubbery in our yard. That's definitely something we should do when we get out of here. Planning far ahead is usually a good strategy, but for now we should be more interested in our plan for water rationing. Mary Jane's condition isn't getting any better today. Mary Jane keeps fainting. We really need to find her some water to drink fast. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. Timmy's no longer hungry. How about getting Timmy something to drink? Are the walls closing in on us? Is this space getting smaller with every passing minute? We need to get out of here. Now, open the door. Open the damn door. Sure. Oh, Ted's sick. Opening the door and letting contaminated air in was a great idea. Now instead of phobias, we need to deal with vomiting. Mary Jane keeps fainting. We really need to find her something to drink fast. If we don't cure Mary Jane, who knows what will happen. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. We need to rest a few days. He needs a few days to rest. Timmy's no longer thirsty. Ted needs water to survive. Ted has become infected with something. Well, I don't have water, but everyone gets soup. Timmy has been sitting there just staring into space. Is something wrong? Maybe it would be good to have a little chat with him. Even a word or two may be enough to brighten someone's mood. Timmy seems to be better now. Something should be done about Ted's sickness. Ted looks like he's got one foot in the grave. He needs to get a drink right now. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. When Mary Jane found out she's not getting a single drop of water, she got furious. She stormed out into the wasteland, shouting over her shoulder that we'll regret this and that she's getting her water one way or another. We are seriously terrified right now. Okay. Flashlight. Found it. The ammunition clip was covered by a can. Too bad it was empty, but at least we have our bullets back. Ted looks like he's got one foot in the grave. He needs to get a drink right now. Ted hasn't recovered from his illness yet. Timmy still hasn't rested. How about getting Timmy something to drink? He's not looking too well. Sometimes the sudden urge. Sure. Uh-oh. I died. Be careful what you wish for. After a few minutes of playing, a small group of mutated cockroaches jumped out of the cracks in our walls and started moving to the rhythm of the song. They ran in circles and shook their little antennae. It would be adorable if they weren't disgusting. What are we supposed to do with them now? Too many days without water took their toll. Ted died of dehydration. Timmy has rested. Timmy is in terrible shape. A stranger pushing a rusty wheelbarrow found some water. Okay. Boy Scout. Yes! Okay. After making the trade, the man packed his things into the wheelbarrow and departed. Before leaving, he uttered something about bandit activity nearby and how dangerous the area is. We were glad to see Dolores Beck come back safely from the wasteland. We spotted an unknown group of people scavenging in our neighborhood. They had a lot of bags and backpacks, too many even. They were really busy and didn't notice when one of their backpacks went missing, with little help from us. Lucky find, there were some cans inside. Oh, it's soup. At the bottom of the backpack, underneath a dozen or so pieces of women's underwear, we found a first aid kit. We returned from the expedition, but our axe didn't make it. Our little trip to the surface might have been spotted and followed. We should be more careful next time. Timmy's in terrible shape. We need to give him some water now. Timmy's pretty fatigued. Alright, soup, water for everyone. We're not certain about the situation. Alright, Timmy can go on the expedition. The funky roaches haven't really left us. To be fair, they aren't causing that much trouble. They even seem relatively friendly and curious. Just this morning we opened our eyes, we saw them standing in a perfect line right in front of us, as if they're waiting for something. If you can't beat them, join them. We figured the roaches are craving some more of our music, so we fulfilled their unspoken request. They started joyfully prancing around again, creating fun shapes on the floor. Then all of a sudden, they all left in one line. We thought the show was over, but they soon came back in a group, carrying supplies on their strong mutated backs, and saying, "Looks like we made some new friends. Disgusting mutated radioactive friends. +1 soup and +1 water. Dolores would really love to eat something." Timmy's no longer thirsty. Soup for Dolores. It's about time we chose someone to go scavenge the remains out of our town in search of supplies. Who would it be? Wasteland awaits. Rifle. Take the rifle with you, Timmy. Timmy went to the wasteland. We don't know what we'll do if he doesn't come back. Dolores needs more time to rest. She seems exhausted. Dolores is no longer hungry. The siblings kept their word and visited us again with a request, seeing as they're slowly running out of space in their tent. That group is attempting to build a small camp for themselves. They already gathered some resources, but they need some help to chop the wood and build houses. I don't have an axe. We apologize for not being able to help at this time. Maybe we can find an axe soon and join the fun. But right now, we have no way of helping these folks. Dolores complains that she can't get a good night's sleep around here. Dolores has to drink sometimes. A sleazy-looking trader carrying an equally scruffy bag. Ooh! Shirkov! As soon as the door closed behind the trader, the bag started to violently shake, emitting screeching, hellish sounds. Terrified, we backed up against the walls. When the beast finally escaped, it turned out to be just an angry house cat. The feline gave us a menacing look and promptly sat down in the corner to clean itself. Its collar says Shirkov. Is that its name? Dolores complained she still can't get a good night's sleep around here. Dolores would really love to eat something. During our last expedition, we finally approached that nearby vehicle. It was an ice cream truck, missing wheels and a few other crucial components. The outside was rusty and a little burnt out. If we hope to ever drive away from here, we should scavenge it for something to reinforce it. Anything we should grab for this little supply run? Day 30. Uh-oh, the flashlight broke. Armed with a flashlight, we braved the darkness and an almost intact base a few houses down the street. There were lots of cobwebs and an impressive collection of barbecues. We grabbed some grills to install on our vehicle for protection. It smelled wonderful too. Oh, the flashlight didn't make it. Shame. Dolores has rested. Dolores is no longer hungry. Yay! What's that sound? Oh no, something or someone is below us. It's only reasonable to go and check it out. How about using that manhole? Day 31. Going into a tight, dark tunnel is not a good idea, especially with those weird noises coming from it. They are giving us the creeps even up here. Dolores has to drink sometimes. Before the world turned into an unforgiving, dead wasteland, we were friends with almost everybody in our town, including the old man Jim, who would shamble through our street, often always said hello. When we wanted to visit him once, he gave us an address that took us to a park. Old man Jim is such a joker. It appears that he survived the blast, since he's at our door right now asking if we want to buy a rock. Sure. Timmy's back, and he brought water. Good. And the rifle made it. Old man Jim was always lovely and friendly to everyone. So of course we opened the door and fulfilled his request. He winked at us and told us the first rock is for free, which we were happy to hear. A nice rock is a good thing to have, but we don't think we will be able to trade any of our supplies for it, even if it brings us luck like he claimed. We were so afraid for Timmy, but he came back from the wasteland and is safe with us now. We tried our luck at a nearby bar, fittingly called the World's End. Usually such a respectable family like our own would never go there, but this time we gave it a shot, hoping to find some unclaimed goods. Who would have known that tomato soup used to be such a popular snack in a bar? We found a few cans of it and took them with us. We didn't expect to find any clean water in the bar, and we weren't wrong. Whatever we found wasn't pure and it wasn't water, but hey, if it quenches thirst, it counts. We believe that our expedition to the wasteland must have been followed by strangers. We should be more cautious next time. Dolores is no longer thirsty. Timmy should eat something. Timmy is really tired. Soup and water for Timmy. We're not certain about the situation. Sure, we'll do that tomorrow. A woman came by with a creature she claims to be a camel, provided that camels have 5 legs. The animal's carrying a pack of goods for trade. We'll do the ammunition. We exchanged goods with the trader, and she went her way. Before she left, she insisted that we should listen to a radio broadcast if we ever want to get out of that shelter and find a safer place to be. Timmy is very hungry. Timmy keeps falling asleep in his chair. Dolores is quite calm given the situation. Dolores. Soup. No, not soup. I gave her gas mask. Dolores is on her way to the surface. Let's hope she'll make it back safe and sound. Timmy still hasn't rested. Timmy is no longer hungry. Okay. These are dire circumstances we find ourselves in. Supplies are running low, and if we don't take care of ourselves, nobody else will. We know for a fact that one of our neighbors had a shelter with a broken trapdoor, and there might be some supplies inside. Of course, there's a chance the neighbor and her kids managed to get there in time, but we really could use whatever they have. And we're stronger. Should we pay them a visit? Sure. We are now richer in some supplies, but for some reason we don't feel very good about it. Let's just never mention this whole thing again. Timmy still hasn't rested. Some water for Timmy would be nice. Timmy should eat something. We wish we could we wish we could just leave. Sitting down here with barely anything to do is driving us crazy. Hopefully the time to leave will come soon. Timmy still isn't rested, Timmy is no longer hungry. Alarm! There's a group of people outside and they don't seem too friendly. We recognize some of them, they used to be our neighborhood watch. They don't sound too concerned with the well-being of the neighborhood anymore. But they are serious about angrily waving their heavy flashlights. We need to do something before they break in and take everything we have. Lock the door. Lock's broken. We didn't think that a small padlock would stop them, but it turned out to be enough to discourage the unknown attackers. It seemed they gave the whole break-in a fair shot, but ultimately gave up and left. Too bad that the padlock is in no shape to be used again. We need to think of other ways to fight off the bandits and other soup-hungry barbarians. Timmy needs to rest a bit longer. A few more hours of coughing and we'll get used to it. Our ventilation fans have halted and no fresh air seems to be circulating through the shelter. We need to fix it before we suffocate like rats trapped by a professional and very